Good evening and welcome to tonight's city council meeting. I'm going to call this meeting to order. City of Anamosa City Council Agenda Regular Session, Monday, April 11th, 2022, 6 p.m. Anamosa Library and Learning Center. 1.0 roll call.
Crump,
Here.
Gombert,
Here.
Smith, Stout,
Here.
Tukin. Here. Zumba.
Here.
Note for the record, 5 members present in council chambers. 2.0 Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Point zero, approval of agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Allen. Council discussion. Dana, please conduct the roll vote.
Gombert,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 4.0 motion to approve the minutes from the following meetings. 4.1 March 28th, 2022 regular council meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is that Brooke or Jeff? Jeff. Motion by Jeff, second by Rich. Council discussion. Dana?
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba.
Yes.
Gombert,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Motion to approve minutes as submitted carried unanimous. 4.2 March 30th, 2022 special council meeting.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion by Rich, second by Brooke. Council discussion. Dana?
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Gombert,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve minutes carried unanimously. 5.0 public hearings, none. 6.0 proclamations, none. 7.0 old business. 7.1 review and approval of professional services agreement with Shive Hattery for the fire station addition project. Ron Hins. Are you seeing anyone, Rob? I guess, council, do you have questions on the material that was submitted? Nothing else. Chief could take those inquiries back to Shive to get clarification.
Well, I do have a question because I was going through their original contract. And unless I'm missing something, it looks to me like the original contract should have been for roughly 14 to 16 months, not 12. Because they've got down schematic design, 4 weeks, construction documents phase, 6 to 8 weeks, bidding and negotiations, 4 weeks, and then 8 to 10 month construction period. So I'm not sure why we're, if my addition's right, and if my looking at this and understanding it's correct, we still have at least another month to go before we need to extend anything.
Based on those points, one of the first questions that would come to my mind is, when did their construction period that they identify as 8 to 10? What would be the start date for that? And then go out from there.
Yeah, I don't know, but I
Yeah.
mean, based off of what they've got laid out, they've got it mapped out for at least 14 months and it could be up to 16. Because I use the lower end numbers. You know, as far as the time frame. So I didn't use 10 months, I used 8 months.
If it was 16 months, this is January 21. So it'd be up to what, end of May?
Yeah,
Well, I certainly think, Rich, you raise a valid question.
you know, I'm just trying to understand
Mhm.
their timing on this.
Well,
As
not
far-
only that, but there was a period of time, and we're dealing with materials and stuff where there weren't materials and the winter kind of put us kibosh in getting some things done too. And they're charging us, what was it, $15,000 for, as far as I'm concerned, doing nothing. I know from what I understand, there was a problem with one of the columns, that there was some rebar showing. Took them 3 weeks to get there to look at it. Then it only took about a yard of cement to resolve the problem. I still want to see, they need to show me what they did for $15,000. I never got an answer from them the last time we talked to them at the meeting. And I'm bothered about that. I think, Jeff, you brought it up first. I just can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand why we owe them $15,000 for not doing anything.
And then I thought about, even if they don't go along with your math, I mean, say it's expired now, this only buys us till the end of June, and that's only 2 months. I can't see that every last thing can be done in 2 months. There'll be punch list stuff.
Right.
So,
Well, supposedly it's supposed to get us, I thought, to the end of July. And the building was supposed to be completed by the end of June. Was the way I thought, I understood it from last meeting. But even at that, that's provided the building comes in and they get it erected in time and so forth and so on.
I mean, my concern is, like the materials, electrical supplies are in short supply. I mean, if that gets pushed back, are we gonna be back asking for more money again?
Right.
So.
I mean, he based that 15,000, he said, off of what they billed per month leading up to this point in time. So it almost sounds like they just amortized it over 12 months and said, here it is. We're done at the end of 12 months. But I'm disappointed that Ron's not on to answer the questions.
Well, I guess one of our options would be to go ahead and table this for 2 weeks and hope that we can get some presents, whether it be virtually or in chambers, to answer your questions, provide a little bit more clarification.
Well, and I would like Patrick to review this just to see if my understanding of this is correct and what his take is on the original contract.
I'd like to see him here in person.
Pardon?
I'd like to see him here in person.
Which one, Patrick or Ron?
Ron. Can't read body language and they're.
Well,
sitting
yeah,
behind the
and I
screen.
mean, just keep in mind that comes at an expense.
Yeah. How much?
Yeah,
It could be expensive if he's coming from Des Moines.
Well, and here in certain spots, it's $1,500 a trip, it mentions, or at some point. I'd also like to see it if this is possible. And it's had a history of being delayed once. If there's a chance it could happen again, if it could get word just at this point, whatever it takes to get it done is a flat rate, because
Well, I asked him about extending it from July 30th to August 30th, and he goes, well, we'd have to charge you for another month. So they're not looking at it as completion, they're looking at how much of an ongoing revenue stream do we have, is the way I'm taking it.
And, you know, just no defense to Shine. We don't know their billing process. That's where we would certainly need this clarification.
Definitely need clarification.
So means this was moved from our last meeting to this. I would prefer a motion to table with a vote of council for the action. If that's what you want to do, I'm not trying to speak for you.
if there's still questions outstanding, I think that would be reasonable. I guess I'll move, we table it till we can get some questions answered. And have him present at the next meeting.
if possible. I'll second that. And I'm just gonna add to that, that I hate kicking this can down the road, but I just think we need to get some clarification.
I fully understand, Rich, as a council, we need to be good stewards, good financial stewards of taxpayer dollars. Just to get this clarification, I don't think you're asking for too much.
Jeremiah, before the next meeting, did you maybe touch base right before for our reminder to?
I will do that.
Brooke, not to call you out, but you dabble in this a little bit on a daily basis. Is your
Nothing.
thoughts or is the council out of line to
No.
request this?
No, but with what I deal with, we're constantly short stuff. I don't really see it being done in that time period, honestly. I mean, if we do get the materials, who's to say the contractors? He's been pushed off and he's probably got something else going. So who's to say they're gonna show up on time?
Between the builder, the electrician, everything that's going on, yeah. And all it takes is one person to set the other person back.
It's a waterfall effect.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
downstream to it. Yep.
Well, that's understandable. It's just, you can see it's keep getting dinged. It's already a kind of a punishment when we're getting pushed back, but when it's a dollar amount. too.
Right.
I mean, when you build a house, the general contractors fees typically, no matter how long it takes, they're getting a set amount. It's not, if it gets drug out, they don't get more money usually.
Well, and I guess the other question I really have about it at this point in time is the bid's done, everything is put into play. What do they actually have from this point on? Are they actually going to be doing to earn that $15,000? You know, granted, they may come out and go through the punch list at one point, but that's a pretty expensive punch list if that's all that's left.
Well, and it's not our fault that the sheet metal or the electronic equipment or whatever is going on that's slowing this thing down. We made a deal with them in good faith to pay them what they said it would cost to build that add-on. And for us to get nailed, from what it sounds like to me, $15,000 for not doing anything except a little bit of paperwork or somebody running out to look at a cement column. There was a lot of downtime there and they need to justify that.
Well, and the other part of that is, from what I read through the information that was provided, they delayed in ordering that building at least 1 month, if not maybe 2 months, when there was a potential color change without coming to the council and getting the approval of that change. So they in turn created a delay themselves.
I wouldn't have to work so hard if I could charge my customers for the parts that I'm not getting because of the cars I'm trying to put together. I
Well,
wouldn't have a job if I did that. You know, it just bothers me.
just, again, I'm not defending anyone, just trying to provide information here now. My experience, when projects do get idled, the work doesn't go away. There's still inquiries, there's questions that need to be answered. So again, that's just from my experience.
Well, and I get that, but the work that needs to be done is not as intense as if the project was in full swing. So that doesn't mean that during that time frame they used up all that, should have used up all that money.
And that's where you want that clarification.
Right.
So motion by Jeff, second by Rich to table this till next meeting. So we can have presence of Shy Battery personnel.
Can be on to you. Say the 1,500.
There's no other discussion. I'm going to go ahead and call a vote. Dana,
Zumba,
Yes.
Gomber,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
motion to table carried unanimous. Chief, I guess looks like you get some action items on this one already.
Yep, will do.
7.2, review and approval of community development block grant, subrecipient procurement policies and procedures.
I'm just gonna ask, is this the specifics on the process of the first round, or is this part of the second round? Because I know we did an item already.
Good question. I would have thought it was the second phase, Jeff, but I certainly am not going to go on record to state that.
I believe that's accurate. The second phase, just due to the general administration of federal funds, this kind of outlines the details and requirements of procurement that they have to let everybody know about. So
Thanks.
I'll move to approve.
Thanks, Rich.
I'll second.
Motion by Rich, second by Alan. Further council discussion. Dana,
Gomber,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Zumba.
Yes.
motion to approve carried unanimous. 7.3, update on Dillon Military Bridge, Tom Durgan.
Tom Durgan, downtown property owner. I only have one copy. You guys want to look at these and kind of pass it around. I kind of explain what I have here. Try to keep it in order. I believe it was around October 3rd, somewhere I took pictures. October 11th, I presented you guys with some video and some stuff on this bridge. A week and a half ago, I just happened to stop by there and look at it, and then I took some more pictures. So, like I told you, on October 11th, approximately 3 years, the one stone moved 5 inches. Since I presented this to you, that stone has moved 2.5 inches. I think the only thing that is holding that up now is a piece of shrub that's there. I think it's kind of has it wedged. Obviously, I'm really concerned about this, and the first 2 pictures are the tape measure, and I just noticed it. I should have took a different one with because what these 2 show are exact places. I took a picture with me so I could put the tape measure in the same spot and measure. So in that 6.5 or that 6 months, it's moved 2.5 inches, so it's moved half of what it took 3 years to move. In the picture with the 2 circles, the one straight red line, that's where I was holding the tape measure. The circle is the shrub that I think is kind of holding that one in, it's kind of holding compression. And then there's a 4th picture showing 2 divots that have grown quite a bit on that same side of that bridge. I did call Nate and I see he's on. He was traveling. He thought he could pull over and it looks like he must have pulled over in case there was any questions or you guys want to say anything, but so obviously, like I said, I'm very concerned about this because the short time frame that it's migrated as much as it has. Now I'm really concerned about people even getting close to that because I'm afraid if someone stands on that, I was on it taking measurements, didn't move, but you don't know. Because if that goes off and someone's standing on with the amount, there's a tremendous amount of water because that river's high going over that dam. I would like to see at a minimum, the fences get moved back, completely closed off, because right now you can actually walk in on the one end, you can walk around the fences and get on that bridge. I think it's critical enough now that something really needs to be done. I know, like I said, Nate's on here, I believe. If you have any questions for him, I don't know other than to present you with this, and the water's still high, and I'm not going to dive it at this time with the height, with the flow of the river. So this is kind of critical, I think. I don't, at the rate it's moving, I'm really worried that how long before it's going to fall in the river. If we lose that stone, I think it's going to be a ripple effect. And if we get any major floods this year, that would be catastrophic,
Tom,
in my opinion.
those divots in the soil there, what's holding, where is that soil at in regards to where the bridge is at? Is it the stones that have to move before that soil gets much worse? Or is the soil actually giving way?
I think the stone is, the dirt is quite a ways away from where I measured this. If you look, the 2 circled ones that I have circled here,
Yeah, I saw
you
that.
can see the shrub to the left, top left of that picture. That's the one that's kind of holding that stone. It's,
Okay.
it's kind of over that edge. But with everything that's missing there, I think all that dirt is really starting to migrate. We had a pretty good winter. The ground's saturated.
Yeah,
We've had some rain. I think it's just really starting to displace that dirt fairly fast. And this, I didn't measure how far out, but if you look at it, I just look at the picture, I'm gonna say probably about 8 foot out. But I really think that needs to be. And I don't know, I don't have the answers of how to really close that. We just try to move it back or close the bridge a little bit better and then move something else out. I don't know. Or, even come off what gate and fences there with like a wing back to keep people off of that stone and away from that. Because if someone does happen to go off of that, if that stone, if they were standing on it, and it would go, I don't think they're gonna, with that current going through, I don't think they're gonna get out. So, like I said, I'm concerned. I don't know what to do. And I was gonna go to and I see Jeff's on, maybe that'll be a little bit later too, but I figured because of the agreement and all that stuff, I'll talk to the city and the city can talk to the county, or I'm more than happy to go to the county again. And like I told you guys, I told them I'm not gonna forget about it. So.
well, last time I talked to Rose, and unfortunately she's not with us anymore, but she knew of some contractors or people that are experts at repairing bridges. I think I still have that information. We haven't done anything as a council or the city to have someone look into that, have we? Does anybody know?
Have somebody look into the bridge?
Yeah, as far as the repairs, what it would cost to do something like that or what needs to be done.
Yeah, we approved, what's that company?
Nate
With
Origin.
Nate's on.
Have they
We
looked at it?
approved with the understanding the county was going to do it at their next meeting and approve, which they did.
Yeah.
So they should, I don't know if they've started anything yet, but
They haven't looked at it yet, I don't think.
we started.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I said, Nate, I think he's on there, but Because I do have, there's a site I was on, has a whole lot of information on this bridge. And there's actually a company, and Nate probably has the name of that company. They're out of Michigan. They specialize, according to their thing, they specialize in this kind of stuff. But this is Nate's area of expertise. I'm
Mhm.
just here to try to present you with the problem
Yeah.
and the headache. But, and I'm not beyond calling someone too, if I don't want to call and say, hey, come and take a look at our bridge route,
It'd be kind of nice if we could find out a way to kind of figure out financially where this bridge stands. It's not going to be a cheap fix, and we've got a lot of irons in the fire. I guess the county is responsible for half the cost. Grants, none of this has been looked into. I'd really hate to go another winter if it's moved that much already.
Yeah, in 6 months. Yeah,
Well, and if I remember correctly, Nate said that part of it would be getting either a dive team, or if Tom wanted to dive and do the underwater portion of it, they could accept that, but until they get some of that,
Mhm.
I don't know that they're gonna get a full view of what needs to be done and
Yeah.
accomplished. And I don't,
I talked the other day, we're just waiting for the water to kind of go down and maybe
Yeah.
warm up a little bit.
this time of
I'm
year,
going a lot colder than that, so, just when you're that close to a dam and you're diving, it's a serious situation, and, we're just kind of waiting for it to go back down,
Sure.
it's a lot safer,
Yeah, you bet.
understandable.
so. But yeah, so. I know it's a tough.
I don't, not even beginning to question the safety aspect.
Yep.
Of this. The only thing I will say is the wording of 7.3 is an update.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yep.
state possible action.
Yep.
And I believe you're referencing the county side of the bridge.
Yes,
So for the city to just go in and fence this off.
Yeah.
I know how things would work in the private sector, but we're not in it.
yeah. And because I
So-
think the city ended up having to close it on their own anyway, just to, I'm not sure. I think so, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It's
And then, are we creeping out into
the,
DNR property?
DNR property and-
as well. So,
yeah, because I don't know what, I know the city keeps on going, but on that side, where does the county versus the state start and stop? So. Okay. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Is council somewhat follow along with that?
Mhm.
Certainly is gonna need attention, obviously sooner rather than later. This will talk later, chief.
Sounds good.
Any other questions or discussion on item 7.3? Does the council have questions for Nate?
Does he have something to say?
Yes. Bring him on board.
Oh, good evening. I was trying to unmute myself through that whole thing.
Welcome, Nate.
Thank you. This is Nate Miller with Origin Design. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we
Yes.
Yes, we
can.
can.
Okay. Well, certainly in listening to Tom's description, once those walls start moving, that it does pose an issue. I do think that restricting access to the area directly above that wing wall would be an important step to take. Once those walls start moving, there is no way to predict how long they will be stable. We will certainly expedite our inspection and analysis to figure out exactly what we have going on and what the next steps would be to repair that. I think that our current schedule right now is to try to get our inspectors out there in the next 2 to 3 weeks to complete that inspection. I know that Tom also referenced that there was some divots starting to form behind those abutments. And so what happens there is as that wall starts to move out and those grouted joints start opening up, you just start losing material through those joints. And so that's really just kind of indicative of the movement and the state of that structure.
Okay, well, Nate, I think, obviously you heard some of the discussion from council is we don't believe we can just move ahead unilaterally. That we have to involve the county and possibly the state DNR to, I guess, quarantine off this area.
I think that there is sufficient evidence right now from what's been described to me that it could be potentially considered a public safety hazard, in which case I think an immediate action of doing even a temporary fence around that area would be warranted immediately.
On the park side, can we talk to the rangers possibly if if it's not city? The park rangers and possibly they could put up the fence on that side? Is that possible? We at least ask them and see if there's a way to do that, because that does need to be closed. The other thing is with this soil in the spring and as heavy and wet as soil is, it could start putting pressure on them stones. And if there's a weak spot, it could actually cause the stones to collapse because of the pressure from the soil pushing on it too. I would think that we should probably ask them if they could do that. Or give us permission to go over there and do it.
I would say that this time of year with the, as the thaw comes out of the ground and you have this increase in moisture, the last month and a half has probably been when you would be most likely to see that movement. And so it's not entirely unexpected that you have some additional movement during that period. But again, every inch that wall continues to move, the less stable it becomes. So I would reiterate the importance of some expedited action on isolating that area.
Well, either the park ranger or Tom, if you talk to the county engineer, since it's their side, they might possibly just go ahead and put up a wider fence to blockade it.
When I originally took it to them, I believe it was Derek said that the engineer that, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. I don't remember how I put it, but basically if they think there's a hazard, they close it. So I can call him and talk to him, see what he wants to do or how they want to do it. It don't matter to me. So,
But
I mean, it does matter to me, but.
Well, I think that'd be a good idea to contact them since it's their side, see what they have to say. And like Al said, maybe the DNR also talk to them.
Sure.
It's not that we don't want to do something, I don't think, but like Rod said, it's not on the agenda for us to actually act on anything. And this might be something then that Chief Hoyt, as acting city administrator, could maybe step in to that role and ask that it also be done. So maybe he can, between all three entities, somebody can get something accomplished.
Yeah, because I'm not even sure how to get a hold of them out because they don't stay at the park anymore. And
They've got
had
a
his
new
number.
new employee as well, so.
Yeah, that, yeah,
we're-
they just changed, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're gonna have to do a little digging, but we can reach out and get a hold of them.
John at Central Park would probably, I'll check with John, see if I can find out who it is. And then I'll talk to Derek and see. Or maybe Swish can, I think he's on. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Nate. Council, do you have any questions for Nate before he drops off? Again, thanks, Nate, for taking time out of your evening to join us. We very much appreciate your input on this.
Absolutely. Thank you for the time for letting me speak about this. And like I said, I'll reach out as soon as I can and get down there and take a look, see what we can do.
I think all parties would certainly appreciate that.
Understood.
7.4, discussion of possible action on request for 2080 agreement amendment for the Dillon Military Bridge.
So do we know the purpose for their request?
Well, in reading it over, not quite sure I could understand what that reason was.
I mean, I just see that they want to change it from a 5-year to a 2-year agreement periods.
It was originally written as not expire, or no end date, just every 5 years from the original agreement, so.
Right.
Chief, are you aware, has the city attorney had an opportunity to review and comment on this?
I don't believe he has, no.
I mean, it was to expire June, the way I see this, expired June 30th of 2022. They gave their 90 days notice. Which then in turn means if we don't do something in 90 days, this agreement ends. But I'm just wondering why they want to shift from a 5-year rolling to a 2-year rolling. If any reason was given, or maybe Swish might have some insight on this.
Would the council be favorable to allow Jeff to speak? He might be able to shed some light. I know that Swish will not speak for all of the supervisors. He would only speak for himself, so at least you can maybe get an answer, Rich.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Rob. Cue Jeff in.
Yeah, Mayor, what was the question again?
Hey, Jeff, Rod Smith here. Welcome to the council meeting. Rich and I think a few other council members just are looking for a little bit of clarification to the, I guess, the substance behind this request.
Well, I think during our meeting, some of the supervisors were confused on why the county was involved in this agreement. And we don't own any property that butts up to the bridge. So Supervisor, I think it's your next agenda item. We want to get together and jointly meet with you and talk about this bridge.
so Jeff, was there
Yeah.
was there a definite reason to go from 5 years to 2 years then for this agreement?
That was a motion made by John Schlarman. I don't know what his reason was. I think that's why he also made in his motion, he wants to have a meeting with the city council as well. because well, there was also some discussion. None of this was in our budget. I'm sure it's not in your budget. Kind of a planning thing. If we knew about this during budget time, we could better act on it, but nobody knew anything about it during budget time. As far as, I know we hired Nate to figure it out and come back to us with a price. But John made a motion to see if we could reduce the, down from 5 to 2.
Okay.
Council, any other questions for Jeff? Well, Jeff, thanks for coming online with us and offering up some information. Looks like council will need to make a decision on a couple items here before us, and I'm sure we'll all be in touch.
All right, I'll be on if you need something.
All right, thank you, sir.
You bet.
Well, I guess one option would be to table 7.4 in hopes that 7.5 passes with that follow-up discussion. Then there might be a more clear path.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's, no pun intended, these waters are rather murky.
Exactly. I'll make a motion to table 7.4 at this point in time.
I'll second it.
Motion by Rich, second by Brooke. Further council discussion. Dana, please.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumbach,
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to table carried unanimously. 7.5, discussion of possible action on joint meeting with the Jones County Supervisors to discuss the amending of the 28E agreement for the Dillon Military Bridge.
I'll move to approve that, depending on when we can set up a joint time to meet.
It would certainly have to be in a public forum.
Exactly.
I'll second that.
You want to suggest a time or just wait and see what works with them?
Rich.
I think what we need to do is reach out to them. They've got a meeting tomorrow, reach out, find out what they're looking at for a schedule, and then at our next meeting, we can set the date. And hopefully, with that, like if they say, they give us maybe 3 dates or something, so we can kind of hopefully narrow it down to the one that's going to work for everybody.
Dana, can you incorporate that into the motion?
Mhm.
Alan, you still good with the?
Oh, yes.
second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're making some progress anyway. Any other council discussion? Is there any public comment on this? We're starting to get to where, at least my thought was that public might want to be involved. We're on 7.5.
7.5.
Just quick, Tom Durgan, downtown property owner. Will it be open to the public?
Has to be.
I don't know how we could not have it.
Okay.
We had one before a few years back. A joint.
Pardon?
We had a joint meeting a few years back. There wasn't a joint meeting previously.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
It'll have to be.
okay, thank you.
No further discussion. Dana, would you conduct a roll vote, please?
Tukin,
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. 8.0 new business. 8.1 presentation from Jones County Public Health with possible action on board appointment. Jess Wiedenhoff.
We can actually table this item in the transition of the city administrator. She had sent an email. I got that just a little while ago saying that she would not be able to attend tonight.
Table till the next meeting.
Motion by Alan,
Second.
second by Teresa. Also discussion. Dana,
Crump,
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba.
Yes.
motion to table carried unanimous. 8.2 resolution approving the designation of SLFRF funds for the city of Anamosa.
STARS, it stands for State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, AKA the American Rescue Plan. I had to look that up.
Yeah, I knew it was the rescue money.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alan, second by Rich.
Thank you for that clarification.
Council discussion. It looks like it's nothing more than a formality. Hearing none. Dana, please conduct the roll vote.
Bamber,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Zumba.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. Discussion and possible action on Anamosa well number 4 restoration.
Steve Agnich, Utility Superintendent. So we pulled well 4 for maintenance. It's something that gets done every 5 to 7 years. It's been 7 years. Also, last summer, when we had our sanitary survey, there's an air line that you have to take readings for static level that was also broke. So DNR wanted this fixed as soon as possible. And so it was, like I said, it was in that 7-year time frame. So we pulled the well. And as you can see by the, if you look at the second quote that was submitted in there, it's pretty pricey. The biggest problem is the pipe, the down pipe. There's 588 feet of down pipe that goes from the wellhead all the way down, and it holds the pump motor. This quote is only good till tomorrow morning because of the volatility of the pipe. So
Repeat that.
this quote that's in front of you is only good till tomorrow morning because of the volatility of the pipe market.
Okay.
So what we'd like to do, if you look at that quote, it's for $118,000. What I'd like to do is change item number 5 from galvanized to the Tnamic epoxy coating. So then it brings it up to $129,000, $970. Galvanized pipe, according to the pump pulling people, they said this should last about 5 to 7 years, which is what it did. If we put an epoxy coating on it, he believes that we can get 15 out of it. So I have pictures here if you would really like to see. We almost lost the pump because the threads that go into the pump are pretty almost gone. So we almost lost the pump in the well. They also need to brush the well and then bail the debris out of the bottom.
Stepping back, remind me where well number 4 is?
It is the one that is in the compound up at the water plant.
Okay. And it's about how old? the well there?
That's the one that's gonna be
With
replaced.
the one to across. the
No,
street?
no, 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 no,
It's
no.
not?
That's five.
That's five that's gonna be replaced?
So the reasoning behind keeping well 4 is because it is the one being replaced currently with well 6. Yes,
Yes.
the age.
Right.
Well 5 is going to have an issue because we do not have our 200-foot of control. The DNR does not like us to keep well 4 or well 5. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep well 4 in an emergency standing. So if something like this does happen, we have to pull a well, we've had it down for a week or 2 or 3. If something should happen to well 5 right now, we're in a lot of trouble. We're gonna need to keep one well, which is well 4, because we have no control of well 5. and 200-foot radius.
Well 5 is the one down Liberty Street.
Correct,
Yeah.
and they have a house directly 20 feet away from it. So, and we can't tell the property owner not to put a car back there and have oil leak all over, or not spray pesticides or whatever. We have no legal control over that well.
We're not grandfathered either.
No.
But that's why we're searching for well 7.
Correct. Because as I look back, them houses were built after that well was put in.
Right.
So I'm not sure how those houses even got built, but not keeping 200-foot radius. So in general, we're gonna have to keep well 4 in emergency status, so we're gonna have to keep repairing it. This repair should last 15 years. And then as soon as we get well 7, well 5 will be taken out. And it will be well. Because we don't have control.
You know, you really don't give council much option.
Well, when it comes to a well, we only have 2 in town. We're kind of running at one of those things, that this has to be done. Because if anything should happen to well 5 like it has in the past, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Because we're not gonna have a well, we're not gonna have water, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
So how soon can they get these repairs completed?
I think it's 3 to 4 weeks, I believe, is what they said, this part. Because they'll have to come in and brush the well and bail it out first. And while they're doing that, they'll get the pipe and the pump rebuilt, the motor rebuilt, all their stuff.
So how long would that well be out of commission while they're doing that?
All together,
Yeah.
It's been
it's already been 3 weeks.
3 weeks. It'll be
So
about-
it's not being used as.
It's
a street?
offline
No,
right
it's
now.
offline right now.
Yeah, we had to
So that's-
pull everything.
That's the danger we're in right now.
So
We're only
everything-
having 2
Everything's
running
coming
wells.
from five right now.
Right. So we need to get on this and get this fixed before something happens. Hope to God it doesn't.
With materials doing what they're doing, I wouldn't try to wait it out.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, I don't think there's an option.
yeah.
How long have you had this bid that ends tomorrow?
Friday.
Friday.
I got it Friday.
Yeah, I can tell you in my line of work, it's bids end by the hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day by
It's-
day.
It's just sad to say, but that's the environment we're in right now.
Yeah, I didn't actually know if I would have the bid to get it to be put in the packet or if I'd have to pass it out tonight.
Well, the coated sounds like the way to go, because if we had to redo that again in another 7 years, we could spend way more than 818,000.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
The very last option, the well 6 that's being done has stainless steel, so we priced that. And that was a pretty big shock because that's almost $300,000 for that pipe. So I had it put on there just for comparison.
So what'd you say, Cerakote?
It's a Tenemic, TNEMIC epoxy.
Does that come with a guarantee or just I think it can last up to 15 years?
The gentleman that we're working through Cahoy Pump Service, We've been in the business for a long time. I've worked with him before. I have no reason to doubt that it should be reasonable to expect it to last 15.
So there's a comfort level. from
There is some
the owner.
comfort level, yes.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the bid with the option for the Tenemic epoxy coated pipe.
I'll second it.
Motion by Rich, second by Brooke. Further council discussion, questions, additional comments?
Ouch.
Yeah,
Would probably be appropriate.
Which this means we'll probably have to have a budget amendment someplace along the line.
just one. About 130,000 is kind of a lot of money. Probably got any comment on this expenditure? Hearing none. Brooke, please, or Brooke. I'm looking at my notes of who seconded the motion. Dana, please.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. Thanks, guys. 8.4, review and approval of Booth Street project plans and specifications. I didn't, there's no name listed. I'm sorry.
Can I?
You sure can.
I'm Josh Gannon with HR Green. I'm the engineer for the project. So I just thought I'd introduce myself and ask if there's any questions the council has for the Booth Street project. I can give a brief summary if that would help too.
Sure. Please do.
So we've been targeting with city staff to look at areas of water main to replace. So that's the kind of how this project originated. We looked at areas where there was a lot of main breaks that would indicate, issues with the pipe age and condition. So we targeted kind of a U-shaped project area around Booth and Ford, south of Main Street. And then as we got further into the project, identified some need for additional storm sewer improvements in that corridor as well. So we packaged all that together into this project, which is really targeting those two utilities.
Also, questions, comments?
I was just gonna, just for clarification, so it looks like there's a decent amount of sidewalks, as long as we're going in there, sidewalk replacement, tear out replacement. Is it just the one side of, is it just the one side of Booth and one side of Ford?
It would be the west side of both, and it's
Entire-
sidewalk replacement, almost the entire length for the water main installation. So the water main would be installed outside the roadway,
So west side of Ford.
west side of,
Booth,
west side of both Ford and Booth.
And then a little bit on the First Street.
Yep, and then a little bit where we're tying back in one first and a little bit, I think, around Main.
Nothing's done with the east side of Booth in that section.
No, no.
I was just, that's some of the worst in town. That'd be all over, gonna be digging anyway, but
I don't remember from reviewing this earlier. The sidewalk replacement will be consist of ADA.
Yeah, where we're tying back in with ramps, that'll meet ADA.
Okay.
Correct.
So just, if you wouldn't mind, kind of give me a schedule of like, are you gonna do Booth first, tear that up, put it back, do First Street, and then come down Ford, or what's the plan on that?
Trying to remember the staging. I think that's more or less, I think we might be starting with Ford, going down to First and then coming back up Booth. I think that's the general intent. The water main will go in first, so we can get that out of the way, and then the storm sewer will follow.
will like the whole stretch be done the same, like that whole stretch from Main to First, like say on Ford, is that all gonna be tore up at once, or will they take it like half a block at a time? You know?
There's about I think a 500 or 600 foot that we'd like the contractor to stay in, so they get that area done, get the surface put back, and then they can keep marching along with the project.
And meanwhile, you still have some access from the opposite side to.
Correct. Yep. Keep access open for the public.
That will be throughout the project to
Correct.
the best of your ability. I
Yep.
guess.
Yep. Minimize the impact to the public as much as possible.
Good. If for some unforeseen reason you would need to eliminate access, notification will be given early enough to the city that we can communicate
Yep.
that out.
Correct. Yep. The contractors provide notice for anything that's going to require shutdown. We will have a couple of roadway crossings where we have to cross a water or storm sewer. There'll be a short road closure, but they'll have access around for detours and things like that.
That's good and very promising to hear. Foresight is given when that does occur, if it does occur.
Thank you.
Makes for a good business partner.
Thanks. Any other questions I can answer? All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming out this evening, and briefing us on that. Again, I didn't see your name listed, so that's why I didn't acknowledge you. See, I have any motions, so
I'll make a motion.
Second.
motion by Rich, second by Jeff. Council discussion. Public comment. Dana?
Zumba,
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.5, resolution approving the appointment to the Library Board of Trustees to fill term ending.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Alan. Further discussion, council? Dana, please conduct a roll vote.
Bamber,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve appointment carried unanimous. 8.6, review and approval of current bills.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Alan. Further discussion? Hearing no inquiries, Dana, please conduct the roll call.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 9.0, city administrators report.
I really have nothing. Transition period, week one. Week one. Day
Still
one.
smiling.
Still smiling.
Showed up and I'm a little concerned. The clock is getting closer to 7. What you mean? Made an exodus on us.
It was getting close. Had a couple other meetings, so no problem.
Any questions for Chief? 10.0, Mayor and Council's report. 10.1, Mayor's report. Really have anything to report, but I do want to take this opportunity to let council know that a very productive meeting tonight so far on this agenda. Really appreciate the engagement and the open discussion. That's all I have. 10.2, council reports.
I've got two things. One, tourism will be moving into the Grantwood building during this month. They have to be out by, I believe it's April 30th, so sometime this month they will be moving. And the second thing I have is not, it's just a comment, but since the pay for council has not been done yet, just so you know, I don't wish to be paid for the March 30th meeting because I feel that was kind of a waste of taxpayers' money, so I don't wish to be paid for that meeting.
Thanks, Rich. Any else? Any other? Council reports. 11.0, public comment for items not on the agenda.
Excuse me, Dan Frank, Fire Chief.
Just state your address.
1617 Meadow Ridge Court.
Thank you.
I know you guys discussed the Shive Haverly increasing their charge of $15,000. On my take as a fire chief, the project, whether it took 6 months or 2 years, Shive Haverly's involvement in the project would have been the same. So we really haven't had much of a problem. We had a little setback with the concrete, but I think that $15,000 needs to be, like Rich said, needs to be in detail why they want it. So that's my take on that. Couple things come up with the fire department. Just want to let everybody know, our pancake breakfast is coming up May 1st at the Lawrence Center. People ask what we do with their fundraising money. On Facebook, we posted last year we bought airbags with our can money. The airbags are used for rescue efforts involving large vehicles or heavy objects. That was about $16,000 or $17,000 that we spent on our airbags, paid by our pop cans that get donated, and by the fundraisers we have. We also, this past spring, upgraded all of our scene lights on our fire trucks to LEDs, and on a couple trucks got the emergency lights upgraded from the old halogens up to LEDs. Again, that was done through paid for through our fundraising and through our pop cans, which is probably another $15,000. So the community support by people showing up and supporting our fundraisers and our pop cans are allowing us to do some extra things that our budget does not allow. Another thing is coming up, and you probably have seen that we've had an influx of new applicants for the fire department. People have talked, what's the big deal? Why are we having more people joining the fire department? Since I became chief, we've lost 5 guys from the fire department. Some have retired out after having over 10 years of service to our community. A couple struggled with making sure they met their training hours and thought it was time to move on. So training is a big thing in our fire department. The state mandates 24 hours of continuing education every year. So our firefighters have to make that 24 hours in order to stay as an active firefighter. Our new firefighters, when they get out of the fire department, are supposed to, we want them to complete the Firefighter 1 training and certification through the state of Iowa. That has increased to 160 hours of instruction time. So for a new firefighter to get on our department and to get to be state certified, they have to volunteer 160 hours of their time. So things are happening at the fire department. Guys and gals are sacrificing their time to make sure that they are trained, that they're getting certified, and that the fire department as a whole continues to move forward in their ability to protect the citizens of Anamosa. That's just a heads up of what's going on in the fire department.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dan, on behalf of the city, we very much appreciate having the fire department there. So please take back to your team that our appreciation of their time that they're putting into this as Anamosa firefighter. And if we could change anything to lessen the stress, we certainly would. But the hours required are out of the city's hands and reside in the state's hands. But on behalf of the city, thank you for being there when we need you.
Well, I just want to add that, I think they're a great organization, and I think you guys were called into that grain bin down by Mount Vernon because you've got a piece of equipment that they they needed to use, which I think having them have the equipment to use and surrounding communities knowing that is fantastic. So you guys did a great job.
12.0 adjournment.
Not quite. You still got somebody wanting to talk?
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you
Okay.
maneuver
Nancy
to the
Schaefer,
podium.
803 North Division Court. I wonder, when you were talking about 7.3, the update on Dillon Military Bridge and deciding who could make the decision about moving things for safety reasons, the barricades. I wonder if the fire chief can't do that because it is a safety issue, and I think he can declare in his position that be done. So because he doesn't just represent the city, he also represents the county. And I think the fire chief position holds a lot of power. So you might want to check into that. Also, at the last meeting, I questioned public comment time. So resolution 2018-12 approved the 26th of March, 2018 by unanimous vote of council, which was Crump, K. Smith, Markart, Rod Smith, Schaefer, and Weimer. You may want to look that up about public comment. I don't think you just may want to look it up. You should look it up. Thank you.
Anyone else with public comment? 12.0, 12.0 adjournment. This meeting is adjourned.